If we weren't data-driven, we would become exception-driven, meaning we would only understand or hear or believe what's happening out there based upon who is yelling the loudest, who is getting our ear or attention at that point in time.
Welcome to Direct Approach, a bi-weekly podcast hosted by Wayne Moorehead, filled with timely insights, fresh perspectives, and actionable takeaways from your direct selling executive peers to help fuel the growth and evolution of your business. In this episode, Wayne sits down with Anthony Varvaro, COO and CFO of InGroup, to explore how disciplined, data-driven leadership creates clarity, alignment, and trust. From compensation design to retention and transparency, this conversation offers a grounded look at what effective leadership looks like today. But before we begin, we'd like to thank this episode's sponsor, OrderGroove. OrderGroove powers smarter subscriptions for serious direct selling brands. As the leading subscription platform for the world's fastest growing direct selling companies, OrderGroove turns basic auto ship into a high-performing growth engine, driving recurring revenue, improving distributor retention, and maximizing customer lifetime value. OrderGroove's flexible API seamlessly integrates with any e-commerce, commission, marketing, or homegrown system. Ready to future-proof your revenue model? Discover how OrderGroove can help you boost retention, drive revenue, and empower your distributors. Visit ordergroove.com to learn more. Now let's hear from your host, Wayne Moorehead, and his guest, Anthony Varvaro.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of DSN's Direct Approach podcast. I am your host, Wayne Moorehead, and today's guest has a distinguished career in public and forensic accounting, operating at some of the largest and most well-known firms, including some we all know, PricewaterhouseCoopers, BDO, Richter, and more. He joined direct selling in 2019 and was quickly appointed to senior leadership where he ran multiple C-level areas. I'm excited to welcome Anthony Varvaro, COO and CFO at InGroup International. Anthony, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Wayne, for inviting me.
Well, I'd love to start out. I always love to know people's origin story and their path that led them into direct selling. Can you share a little bit about how you went from Big Four accounting firm into the world of direct selling?
A friend of mine, a good friend of mine, said, Anthony, can you please speak with a friend of mine, Mr. Frank Cadena? He has this great company called InCruises, and they're looking to improve upon their acquiring network or their ability to accept credit cards globally. They're growing very, very fast, and they could use some advice. So got on the phone with Frank Cadena. We started discussing. I got off that call about an hour later, and I turned to my wife and I told her, I said, I think I just heard one of the best ideas since Bitcoin. Those exact words. All day was resonating with me what I'd heard that day from Frank, what they were accomplishing at InCruises. 1:15 in the morning, I'm still awake thinking about it, and I tell her, I said, there has to be something I can do with this group. I emailed Frank at 1:15 in the morning, and I told Frank very bluntly, I said, Frank, I see where you want to get to. I go, for you to get there, you need me on board, okay? You don't just need my advice, you need me on board. I press send. 15 minutes later, Frank replies to me, Anthony, I was thinking the exact, okay? He goes, when can you start? 7 days later, I started as their director of payments and helped them build out their payment network to be able to handle the global growth that was going on at the time. So that's how I got involved into the network marketing field and with InGroup.
Oh, that's an incredible story. Again, it's always interesting when people talk about once they're first exposed, they want to be in, they want to join, they want to make sure that they have the ability to change lives. So thank you for sharing that origin story with us. So one of the fascinating perspectives that you're able to bring is that around data and data-driven leadership and data-driven strategy. And why it's so important is, as we all know, when we talk about direct selling, you hear things like people-driven, you hear things like heart-driven. But increasingly in today's world, every company needs to be data-driven. We need to be able to translate that vision, the heart, into real customer and distributor insights. Why do you feel data has become such a defining leadership issue in direct selling today?
I think it's because of the global reach of the companies today. At InGroup, we operate or we have sales every single month in over 150 countries around the world. And if we weren't data driven, we would become exception driven, meaning we would only understand or hear or believe what's happening out there based upon who is yelling the loudest, who is getting our ear or attention at that point in time. If you don't look at the data and you don't understand your data, you really get clouded, or you get confused by the messaging that's out there. So my ear is to the ground. I'm very attentive to what's going out there, and I test it with the data. So if the data doesn't show the issues that are being presented out there, it's not really an issue. It's somebody's own issue. Okay. And we can't run a company with hundreds of thousands of members and very close to 100,000 partners worldwide dealing with exceptions or dealing with the one issue here or one issue there. Then all we're doing is putting out little fires everywhere that really and truly may not even be issues. They're individual issues. So data helps us get to that next level of understanding what are the true issues, how the business is really operating compared to individual issues or individual operations of specific partners or partner groups.
So what do you feel happens when leadership doesn't fully understand its numbers? We have access to all the data, but just having data and not being able to turn those into real actionable insights is not very effective. So what happens when we truly don't understand how to get the data and interpret it into insights?
Confusion, bad decisions, decisions that will satisfy only a small segment of your organization, decisions that could have negative effects where you make a small tweak or a small change, for example, in a compensation program or in some type of incentive that really and truly has a negative effect. So a company that doesn't fully understand their data and what it's telling them is just set up for confusion, especially if you have contradictory data. And when I mean contradictory data, it's data that the numbers are showing one thing, but then the field is telling you something else. And I think you always need to go back with what is bringing the dollars in the front door. That's the data that counts. What is causing sales to occur, and what is it costing you to do those sales? Because in the end, people speak with their wallets.
Absolutely. How do you reconcile maybe the qualitative feedback that's coming in from our distributors, which is very passionate, and oftentimes there's a few very loud voices with great leverage from leadership and from ranks. How do you reconcile what the field says, especially field leaders, with maybe what the data is showing you?
That is where it's important, Wayne, to have quality data, because the leaders in the field are all special. I mean, they've all built businesses. People think building a business in our industry is easy. It's not. Okay. People could have limited, and again, success is all on an individual basis. To one individual, achieving our lowest rank is success, and that's all they want. Okay. To others, it's reaching our highest rank is what they would consider success. But the one common denominator that I feel everybody respects is the data. And I have individual conversations with the people who are allowed saying this isn't making sense. And in the end, they're all business people. And when presented with the facts, they will tend to come around and understand it. So in the end, Frank Udina and Michael Hutchison are two co-founders, have stressed saying they have to believe in the model. Okay. So we've presented a model, we've presented an opportunity. I show them that the data is following this model and supporting our opportunity. So therefore, go with it, believe in it. Okay. It's what brought you to this level. It's what will bring you to the next level. So again, we're never going to make 100% of the people happy all of the time, but I believe with data, we will make 100% of the people understand at least why they're unhappy.
So your experience has been as you bring in distributors or brand partners into the conversations and show data, and it could be around a comp plan change, or around a promotion, recruiting numbers. Is it
Mhm.
received pretty well? Do you feel that they're open and receive it well, or is there still some discussion and kind of convincing around the accuracy of the data with the field?
I don't believe they dispute the accuracy of the data. The interpretation of the data is another aspect. But I believe because we've built goodwill, because we are transparent with them, they believe the data, they believe our interpretation, or they're willing to accept our interpretation of the data. And the one important aspect is we never use data to push a personal agenda. We're always using the data to show how we are adhering to our model, how the model has brought us from a point A 10 years ago to point B, C, D, all the way up to wherever we are today, and how it's going to get us to point Z in 20 years from now, and how it really is for their benefit. Because in the end, if we grow and we continue to be profitable and we continue to expand, they continue to expand because the network effect takes effect. Around 3 years ago, the data was showing we needed to make some adjustments to our residual income component of our compensation plan. We got on various Zoom calls or group calls. We explained why the changes were needed. I clearly showed the data of why it was needed, but I also clearly showed how using or building your teams or building your business will ultimately make you earn more under the revised compensation plan than the past compensation plan. And the data clearly showed it. Okay. So sometimes you need to show people data in order to show them what they're doing wrong. Okay. And how it could be better. So again, transparency is very important, and just showing or being able to cross those I's, connect those dots of how they will be better off. Because in the end, if we're better off, they're better off, and vice versa. If they're better off, we're better off.
Yeah, helping them understand the benefits, how it positively impacts their business, how it is in their end benefit. Really, I've
Yes.
seen it go a long way. I'm curious as you consider the rest of the organization there at your company. So obviously, finance has an amazing skill set there. Business intelligence is going to have amazing skill set. Accounting. So there are these centers of excellence around the financials, around analysis. How do you help bring that same drive and mentality of being data driven into other areas of the organization, marketing, into sales, even into creative or customer service? How do you help make sure that that becomes a organization wide mandate?
It is very important that we are transparent internally also, sharing that data with our different teams and showing them how they can build and model different incentives, different promotions, and how that affects our company and our business model. So our team, our promotions team, and our marketing team always check back with data team or our finance team to ensure that that promotion is in line with our business model. So again, just as we're very transparent external with our partners on data, internal, we're even more so. So everybody is working and understanding that there isn't one person or there isn't one group within this company. It only works because we're all working together. It's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and making sure those data sets connect with one another and ultimately ladder up to the same strategies, the same decisions, really helping to
Absolutely.
integrate those and I think cross validate. A lot of times you can get something in from BI or from a marketing promotion, and there is a little bit of a disconnect. And having an opportunity in a forum to come together and reconcile that, I've found to be really helpful.
Absolutely, Wayne. And you used a very important word there, reconcile. Not every single promotion, not every single incentive, not every single move we make is successful. But the first question, we never blame. Okay, it's we made a decision based upon XYZ. Where did we go wrong? Like what did we not see? Because in the end, when we do this post-mortem, we'll call it, we say, you see, that was important, or that piece of data that we didn't even present would have been important. Okay, so we continually improve. So there's no blaming. It's always going forward. Blaming will get us nothing. Okay, well, it won't fix the past. We can't go back and undo things. So we learn. So we use our own data to understand where we didn't use our data correctly.
So where have you seen companies struggle the most with the collection of data, with the interpretation, with the accuracy? Where are some of the common landmines?
It's first in the collection of data. Now we have the benefit that at the genesis of this company, the founders decided to work on proprietary software. Okay, they built the software that we operate on from the ground up. We have that benefit of being able to collect all the data we want, and when a new data set or a new data point is needed, we can easily integrate it into the collection process or in a sign-up process or in a usage process throughout. So first is access to data, owning and having access to your data. So if you don't have the data and you don't have the historical data, I would number one, put in some kind of system today to start getting it. But you cannot analyze data if you don't have the data. Access to just your raw data. And given the cost of storage of data nowadays, there's no reason not to have all the data you could possibly. There isn't something as too much data. And I'm not talking about personal data or secure data. Like we don't need to have all this ability to identify on an individual basis our specific members or users of our system. So I think first, a lot of companies, but less so today, don't have access or don't fully own their own data. Second, it's once you have the data, what are you going to do with it? Okay, it could become overwhelming. You know, if you don't fully understand what you're trying to get out, you end up going down rabbit holes. The next important thing is once you have the data is being able to understand your data, because again, that's where the confusion will happen. You have to really understand and trust your data and say, this is actually what it's telling me. Because it could lie. It's not, the data will never lie to you. You could misinterpret it and believe something else is happening. Okay. And I think there's a famous saying, 1 month doesn't make a trend, 2 months doesn't make a trend. So data over a long period of time tells a story. Okay. Data will never lie if you ask it the right question. Okay. So those are what's important. And just this week, I heard an interview with Jeff Bezos, which was very important, is what do you do with the data once you've asked it its question and it's giving you your answer? Is the most important thing about any data is timeliness. Okay. Delaying a decision is worse than a bad decision. Okay. Because the field, your own company, your own employees within the company, your suppliers will take the inability to make a decision as weakness. So you're much better off coming out with a quick data-based decision, right? That is right at that time than a delayed decision saying, oh, I don't know yet. We can't tell. We're still analyzing. So a delayed decision is worse than a bad decision in my mind. So Jeff Bezos said it. I'll piggyback on him. I think he has a lot of success. So I think it's a good person to piggyback on. But so using your data in a timely manner, first collecting it, understanding it, and using it in a timely manner is of utmost importance.
Yeah, I love that you brought up the potential analysis paralysis. I think that that trap that we've all fallen into at some point in our careers or in initiatives. How do you make sure that you're able to get the data, to start putting it into action? Is it a permission to be messy a little bit, knowing, hey, we're going to use this directional initially and then continue to refine over time? But how do you make sure that data gets turned into very timely actions before its expiration date?
Having that benefit of having good people on your team, people who understand. So you take away a lot of that delay in the understanding what you're seeing. Okay. Because if you're learning while you're massaging or working with your data, that just adds delay. The other thing is having access. At our company, uh, especially at the C level or even at the director level, we're full access. So I have full access to the CEO, I have full access to the chairman, I have full access to the CMO, they have full access to me. So those ideas are we work in a non-centralized environment. Most people work from home, but as a group, getting those ideas back and forth. We use some communication channels, Slack as
Hmm.
example. We have private WhatsApp channels, email. So just that ability to interact, share the data, test it, um, and be open to ideas. Don't fall into that fallacy, or don't fall into that trap of, oh, because my team did it, it's right. Okay. So listen to alternative opinions, because maybe that'll be a different way to analyze the data. So, but again, don't delay a decision. Okay. So say we are going to have a decision by X date. You can always find a reason to delay it on. So again, set a date, listen, have access to all the different decision makers, take their opinion. Okay. Everybody makes it to a certain level because they have good opinions. Okay. And they've made a series of successful decisions in their life. Okay. So everybody's opinion is worth something. Okay. And you'd be silly. I wouldn't be where I was if it wasn't for teams that I've built or teams that I've been part of, where I've used other people's input or they've used my input. So I think that would be the best advice I could give, not to end up
Yeah.
in a paralysis.
Yeah, that's great. How do you view the qualitative data, and how do you effectively marry the quantitative with the qualitative?
From the beginning, I think has enshrined whatever decision we make, will the member be happier and will the partners be happier? Okay. So if we have a group of happy partners and we have a group of happy members, the business will be better off. Somehow the business will be better off. So we always, I believe, qualitatively test the quantitative data against that one question. I'm going through all this. Is somebody going to be happier because of what's coming out of this? Okay. Does this decision align with happiness? Okay. Now, we can probably do a lot of analysis saying, well, we'll cut this, we'll do this, we'll limit this specific benefit within the membership. You know what? And I can prove somehow, I'll prove we'll make more money at the end of the year, but I'm going to have an unhappy group of members. Or we probably could cut compensation by saying, oh, we're going to ensure that this specific requirement is made, and the data proves that this one little, not exception, but this one little rule costs us X tens of thousands of dollars a month, but it only brings in thousands of dollars a month in addition. We can get rid of this. But now I'm going to have maybe 3,000 unhappy partners who built their business legitimately, understanding and building it around that specific component of the compensation program. Okay. So that's not their fault that the data is showing what's in our compensation program doesn't necessarily meet our current profitability goals. They built it. We gave them this platform to go out and build upon, to understand, to build their business. Because in the end, every single partner is an independent business owner, right? So just because somebody focused on one specific part of the plan that maybe is no longer attractive to us, and my data shows it's no longer attractive to us, eliminating it is now going to create a bunch of unhappy cohort people. Okay.
Hmm.
Now, that is where data doesn't tell the whole story, because now I'll have 2 or 3 thousand unhappy people because of a change. How do you then model that out to its effects on future growth? Because having somebody speak poorly upon you is is very difficult to understand what that consequence is. You know, we've all gone to a restaurant where we don't like it. Most of the time, if I don't like a restaurant that I've gone to, I'll be quiet. I'm not going to actively go out there and tell people, make sure you don't go to this restaurant. I don't like this restaurant. It was awful. Because maybe I just didn't like it, you know, unless it was something totally uh, unforgivable that happened at the restaurant, I'll be quiet. Okay. It just didn't suit me. Not everybody's like that. And if we have thousands of partners out there because we've made a tweak that benefits us, that we initially put into place, and now we've removed it and they don't like it, this is a very small industry in the end. Okay. There's only so many opportunities out there, worthwhile opportunities out there worldwide, right? And again, it's a network system. So you should assume that the networks are speaking to each other and the people are speaking within their networks. So again, it's very difficult to marry the qualitative and the quantitative all the time. But in the end, I would have to say the qualitative, that overriding qualitative goal of member and partner happiness overrides the data.
Are you ready to revolutionize the way your direct selling company accesses industry insights? Introducing the DSN Library's Smart Search, an AI-powered tool that puts over 2,000 curated assets at your fingertips. From compensation trends to emerging markets, answers are just a click away. If you're already a DSN supporter, then you have access to Smart Search right now. If not, it's time to check out our updated program. Starting at just $1,000 per month, your entire company can get access to the channel's most comprehensive collection of education and insights available. Visit directsellingnews.com/supporter to see a demo of Smart Search in action and to learn how your company can become a supporter now. We also invite you to join us at the DSN Marketing Deep Dive event, February 25th, 2026 in Lehi, Utah, where we'll address the marketing realities facing direct selling companies today. This event brings together candid executive perspectives, practical education, and real-world case studies from leaders who are navigating the same complex marketing landscape you face every day. Visit dsnevents.com today for details.
What are some things that you have done there that have had a direct impact on retention and increasing the distributor or customer LTV?
Michael Hutchison, our other co-founder who is responsible for sales and revenue generation, he comes up with wonderful ideas on how to retain. He really has his hand on the market. He goes out into the field. He meets with the leaders. I don't know how he does it. Sometimes his WhatsApp must be going off all day long. Okay, by leaders around the world, and he's passionate about it. He loves it. They love him. The reception he gets when he's out on the field is like a rock star. Okay, and deservedly so. So he lets me in on insights on how to build or how to make modifications to the compensation. Because in the end, it all comes down to compensation. Okay, no one is here if they weren't going to get compensated. Okay, we're not here because we want to waste our time. Okay, in the end, effort has to be compensated. He gives great insights on saying, you know what, Anthony, this is the type of behavior we need to compensate more, or this is the type of behavior we want to compensate less. So him with his pulse on that market, advising me and our teams, we make small tweaks. Again, nothing ever drastic. People don't like drastic because, again, as I started or I said earlier, people have built their systems based upon how they interpret the compensation plan. Okay. So building the compensation, if you've built your business on the compensation plan a certain way, and tomorrow we make a drastic change, I may now have affected a line of 2,000 people that were trained one way and now have no guidance going forward. What they had and what was working no longer works. So again, it's always small tweaks. We often use statistical methods of paying, sort of quality of business indexes. Okay, saying you're going to get paid, but it also has to be of a certain quality. Okay, probably it's probably a very common within the network marketing industry. Yes, we want business, but we want quality business. So we'll make small tweaks of what is included in the QBI, what's not included, how long somebody needs to be. But again, always very small tweaks, very well advanced, very reported or introduced well in advance of any changes. Okay, in order for the field to understand it, build it within their training modules and how they're going to run their business. So again, it goes back to merging that qualitative with the quantitative. Okay. And in this field, anything to do with understanding the field and understanding that qualitative aspect, our data team relies heavily upon those insights of Michael Hutchison, our CEO, who really has that feel of the pulse of the market.
That's great. Thank you for that. I want to kind of start looking forward and gather some more learnings that you have garnered over these years there. What do you feel are some of the least considered data sources, but that can have the biggest impact on the business?
When it comes to our membership, it's the actual booking data. Okay. What are members actually booking? What product can we deliver to them that more meets what their expectation is within the program? Okay. When we first started, for the first 5 years, we had a Royal Caribbean as actually a supplier. And in the 6th year, Royal Caribbean actually said that our business model infringed upon, because we were a bit disruptive, their distribution network in the United States with traditional travel agents. Okay. So it was hard news telling our membership base that we could no longer offer Royal Caribbean. Okay. We were great partners of Royal Caribbean. They, in fact, gave us a wonderful video testament of how great partners we were for our 5th anniversary. Okay. It's just that because we are considered a little bit disruptive in the way we distribute travel, they found it was a bit too disruptive to their existing travel agent base. That took them decades to curate and build. So we accepted that. And we explained to our members we could no longer offer Royal Caribbean. The members, some took it very poorly. They had a dream of going on Royal Caribbean, but then we brought them back and we said, listen, you didn't join InCruises to take a Royal Caribbean. You joined InCruises and have maintained your membership in order to take a cruise. Look at all the other wonderful options that we have with MSC, NCL, Seabourn, Costa Cruise Lines. Okay, so yes, you may have had your mind set on Royal Caribbean, but really and truly, you had your mind set on embarking on this brand new $1 billion ship. Look what's coming down the pipeline. MSC at that point in time had like 10 new ships coming down the pipeline. NCL, Princess, who have all embraced our business model, have come up with this brand new inventory. Okay, so we got over that, and we've been able to teach our membership base that we always will deliver value. Okay. Now, when it comes to partners and our usage of data has just made us be able to refine the partnership program to really and truly almost personally tailor it to each individual while keeping a global plan. We are currently on our 3rd iteration of the membership program, but we're only on our 2nd iteration of the partnership program. And I think that's very telling that our partnership program, and our data shows it, is really hitting on all cylinders. We're truly offering the partner who enrolls in our opportunity a lot of value and a lot of opportunity.
So looking out over the next 5 years, how do you think leading organizations, those that want to remain relevant, succeed in today's landscape, how are they going to use data differently over the next 5 years? And what role do you think AI is going to play in that?
I think that the leading companies over the next 5 years will really make significant investments in data. But other than in efficiency savings, and tools that our partners themselves can use, but that they develop themselves or that we help develop and give to them in order to increase their breadth or increase the message, as far as the ability to use or understand the data, I see it as limited. I still think that for the next period of time, the importance of the human eye looking at it and understanding it and being able to reconcile it with the business model, I think there's too much at stake to let it make those decisions based upon AI when it still is going to need that human intervention to be able to make that reconciliation between, again, making that reconciliation between business model, that happiness factor that I spoke of, that qualitative happiness factor, and the data. I still think needs that human approach.
So I want to end on this question. Again, it's another look forward question. There's been incredible growth in your individual company there over the last several years. As you look at the channel data, as you look at different category data, what excites you the most about the future of direct selling and continue to operate in this business model?
I believe our success is due to the network marketing channel. Okay, that the power of the distribution model is uncomparable. We do not spend as a company any money promoting the company itself or our membership. So our compensation plan, I tell everybody, is really our marketing budget. Okay, it's nothing more than a marketing budget. And when you consider a company our size and what we spend on compensation, it's actually a small marketing budget. So I think more and more companies should or will come back to the realization that network marketing is probably one of the least expensive distribution models out there. Okay, especially a product that requires some sort of familiarization. We're not just selling widgets, we're selling a lifestyle, we're selling an aspiration. Other companies are selling a health benefit. So I believe any type of product or service that requires some type of familiarization, I think that network marketing will end up continuing to prove that it is probably the least expensive distribution model out there. Again, we're not competing with Amazon selling iPhones or widgets. Okay, we're not in that business. Okay, we're in the business of creating relationships, creating that trust, and there's still a lot of products that require that. And again, I truly believe that there is no more efficient method to distribution than network marketing. And that goes back, Wayne, to what I was saying. When we create that financial statement from any partner level down, it proves itself in that also. If Wayne was running his own business, his business would be profitable because we allocate all the cost of running a business to him. That and his whole line becomes one line item in our financial statements. So network marketing has had its ups and downs. I don't know if today is an up or a down for it. People are moving away from it, but again, there will always be people coming back to it. Just like I believe records or vinyl had its day, it completely disappeared, but it's having its day again in terms of, I believe this year there were more record sales than in one of the top years from before. So everything has its day, and you know what? Good ideas don't just disappear. They evolve, but it will continue to come back. People will understand and continue to embrace the strength of this distribution model. Because that's all, in the end, that's all it is. It's a distribution model.
It is. It's an exciting distribution model where there's so many indicators and tailwinds in our favor right now. If the companies that are operating in the channel continue to take advantage of it, continue to lead with the community focus, the person-to-person focus, that relationship focus, that is still the future of commerce, and that is one of our superpowers. Anthony, congratulations on 10 incredible years of growth and impact there. And please give our best to Frank and Hutch. And we look forward to seeing you all at DSU in April.
Will do, and I look forward to being with you guys April 14th to 16th in Dallas.
Absolutely. See you at DSU. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Please take a moment to subscribe and give a 5-star rating and review to help Direct Approach continue to provide more candid insights and interviews for direct selling corporate executives. And don't forget to register for our upcoming spring events at dsnevents.com. Secure your spot now. Thank you for listening and supporting DSN and the Direct Approach podcast.